Hello, my name is Abigail Jordan, and today I will be presenting my portfolio for my creative writing class. My first assignment was my personal narrative. I enjoyed writing this work because it's a record of a past event in my life, and it's fun and lighthearted despite the fact that I broke a bone back in 7th grade. And this narrative glorifies God because it's a true story about a time in my life when God placed His healing hand upon me when I needed Him most. My next assignment was my character creation. I wrote about a man named Collins who, for lack of a better word, was a trained assassin. And I find this to be one of my best works because when I read it, I'm so drawn into it that I wish to read more. And I believe this work reflects Philippians 4:8. I have done this assignment to the best of my ability, and I am using the gift that God has given me to write an interesting character creation. My next assignment was my 100-word fiction. This was one of my favorite works because my grandfather was actually in the Navy, and I feel like this is the response my grandmother could have had when he got home. And it was just really personal to me, so I enjoyed writing it. And this work, I believe, does glorify God because it's pure and lovely. It's a story about a woman that is begging God to bring her husband home to her. My next assignment was my short story. This short story is undoubtedly one of my best works. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and I made it the best I could do in my ability. And I believe that this short story does reflect Philippians 4:8 as well, in that it is noble. And the main character, Jay McCabe, he does what is right in the end of the story despite what the antagonist told him he should do. My next assignment was my apostrophe poem. This is one of my favorite works because it's written to my miscarried sibling, and it describes almost exactly how I feel towards them, even though I didn't know them. And this poem honors God because it was written from my heart. I know that my sibling is sitting in my father's arms, and he is, or she, is safe, and I will see him or her one day. My next work is my free verse poem that I titled Sunshine. And this poem is one of my favorite works because it is very descriptive and full of imagery. And this work also glorifies God, I believe, because it is about His marvelous creation and what He can do. My next work is titled The Field Out Back. This is my list poem, and I believe it's one of my most important works because it allows me to remember the good old days when with the property around my house and how it was open and free, even though later on it was torn down and turned into a bunch of developments. This list poem honors God the Father because it's a poem about how I appreciated the land that my father had given me and how I used it to glorify Him. My next poem was my other free verse poem, which I titled First Snowfall, and I believe that this poem is one of my best because it's simple, it's very descriptive, and the reader can easily picture it in his mind. And this poem also glorifies God, I believe, because it highlights His creation and its beauty. My next poem was my life metaphor, which I titled Life is a Gift Certificate. And this is one of my most important works because it's full of truth in that life is precious and we must take care of how we spend our time here on earth while we still can. And this poem does fulfill Philippians 4 verse 8 because it is full of truth. God teaches us in His Word to be careful how we spend our time, and this is exactly what this poem is encouraging the reader to do. And my final work was my one-act play. I wrote about two girls specifically in a high school setting and how one of them was continuously being bullied by the other. This is one of my most important works, I believe, because it is a drama that can relate to thousands of students' lives all over the world and all across time for that matter. And everyone has dealt with or has at least seen bullying before in school or in workplace or anywhere else. And this play reflects Philippians 4:8 as well. It displays a situation that many of us have faced, yet it goes further to explain why bullying is wrong and how it does not please God. That is my last work. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great day.